Hi, folks. Welcome back to the official catch-up, we'll call this one, because it's about everything today. And I'm lucky enough to be joined by a cast and crew, not quite 1,000, but there's 5 years today, so more than usual. Running through, let's start off with Chris. As always, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, good. I think is this the most we've had on at one time? I think
Pretty
it has.
sure,
Yeah.
other than your very unsuccessful attempt at trying to get a group chat going.
I never,
Um,
never do that again.
that voice you hear right there is a man that you might recognise for recently. Ben for Kilwinning, how you doing, my man?
Not bad, Mozza, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Shaun, who, don't worry, he's not just outside. He is a key worker. I promise you. How you doing, Shaun?
No, absolutely. I've just got the window open. That's what it is. I'm doing good though. Doing really good. Glad to be on. Glad to try and talk some football while there's no football going on. It's always a challenge. So yeah, glad to take part.
We've called the police on him, but the Fife police didn't work too quickly these days, so bear with us on that front. And I'm delighted also to welcome Craig for Radio Saltire. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, guys. How are you?
Good, very good. I think that's all. Ollie's just said good, didn't we? So that's a great start. But just before we get right into things, folks, a reminder that we are sponsored by the Soccer Shop Direct, and you can find them on Twitter at the Soccer Shop D. So when this finally ends and we're back to playing football, they can sort you out for your kits, your gear, your footballs, anything you need. Give them a shout. Good people, and they'll do you a deal. They've also started launching some new kits as well, so keep an eye on their Twitter. Just have a nose at likes of Kelty and that for next season. But with all that said, I think we need to start with East of Scotland League, don't we, gents? Just for anyone that doesn't know, basically East of Scotland have now called their leagues in similar fashion to what the Highland and the Lowland have done. And the way they've done it is points per game. So Bo'ness are officially crowned champions of the East of Scotland Premier and should now be eligible to get promoted to the Lowland. We'll see how that works. There's no relegation though, so all 16 sides are safe depending on what goes on. They are going to promote Tynecastle and also Lothian Thistle Hutchie Vale from the conferences as winners. And Inverkeithing are next in line if Bo'ness get promoted. They would then step up to be a Premier team in a League of 18 for 1 year before going back to 16. So I'll open the floor. Who wants to come in? Any opinions on what they've done, good or bad?
Derek, I'll start off. I mean, I've watched a lot of the East of Scotland this year. I mean, with me being based in Trinent, and I feel sorry a bit for Leith Athletic because I mean they're sitting second behind Lothian before, as I say, it was called, and I feel sorry for them when they're calling, Inverkeithing up. Why can't they call Leith up as well?
Yeah, that's always a problem with these things, isn't it? There's always somebody that loses it or is adversely affected. Leith had a cracking season as well. But any other opinions, gents?
I think it's been handled quite sensibly, to be honest. I like the fact that they've came out. You know what? There's always going to be teams that agree and disagree with the way that it gets called, obviously, but it's been consistent throughout, and I don't think you can ask for fairer than that. So I don't know, for myself, I'm quite happy with the way it's gone. There's still going to be some disparity for a few years regardless, and your teams like Leith will have another chance, and probably a good chance of coming up in years to come. Same with some of your West of Scotland sides that are going to join. It's going to be a wee while until we see it all sort of even out anyway, but yeah, I'm not happy with the way that it's sort of happening, and I know it's not ideal going up to 18 teams and dropping down to 16, but when you're promoting a couple of extra teams and next season relegating a couple of extra teams, we're going to get, clubs finding the level a bit quicker. So yeah, I'm definitely all for that.
I mean, Ben, you're clearly a big fan of points per game resolving leagues, so what do you think on it, mate?
Massive advocate for the points per game. I must admit, it's the best way to do it, without a doubt. Definitely, I think every league in the whole entire world should be points per game. I don't think anyone else should deviate from that line anymore. I definitely 100% points per game. I don't obviously know much about the East side of things because I'm a West punter, as it were. But what's the kind of disparity in kind of games played? That's my biggest bugbear. Obviously, the West, Talbot on 16 and we're on 25. What's it like in the East?
It's nowhere near as big. There's a couple of games here and there, but Bo'ness were pretty much kind of one hand on the trophy. So I think that's why there's not been as big a furore about it. People kind of accepted that Bo'ness were going to win, I think. So, it's more the relegation side of things that I find quite interesting, to be honest, keeping them all up and going to a bigger league next year.
Well, that's obviously going to be quite exciting, you'd imagine, that next season. If there's going to be more promotion spots and more relegation spots, that'll make that league probably really fun for at least one season for the teams that may be fighting either for promotion or relegation, you'd think.
Definitely. Chris, it's not like you to keep your opinions to yourself. What are you thinking, mate?
It's similar to obviously Craig, and you feel sorry for the likes of Leaf Athletic and Glenrothes, who were quite close, but you can't really see much complaints. It's a completely different situation, like me and Ben and Shaun discussed in the West, obviously with the massive disparity in games. But no, I think it's a fair solution. I don't think they could have came up with anything fairer, I guess. The only other thing was obviously the suggestion that they might have redone the league structure a season earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but apart from that, no, there's not really many complaints other than some of the teams obviously feeling a wee bit disadvantaged that they missed out, like say Glenrothes and Leaf, I guess.
Yeah, anyone that's listening that's not aware of what Chris is saying, there were rumours going about that having previously voted to keep the conferences in their second tier in East of Scotland, some teams were agitating to go more to a Premier Division 1, Division 2 kind of scenario. That hasn't happened. So whoever was looking for it, they've not got enough support to put that to a vote in their AGM. So going into the next season, it will still be the same Premier League, down to 2 conferences or possibly 3 or 4. There's 10 new teams coming in potentially, so it might even be 3 conferences. We'll need to wait and see. But it raises questions about the south of Scotland now as well, because if the south is to be called by points per game, Stranraer Reserves win it. But they've got a quite big disparity, like Ben was saying about games played. They've played a lot less games than Threave, who are currently leading. So do we think that's the way the South are going to go, and that way basically Bo'ness have a red carpet to the Lowland without a playoff?
I'd imagine that's probably, if everyone else has done the same thing, then you probably think it would be. And obviously it's difficult for the likes of Threave to be on the end of that. I know how that feels. It's more for us as the Scottish Cup obviously is a disappointing thing, but for Threave obviously promotion's a massive thing, and just to lose that out is because a points per game sucks for them really. But yeah, I'd imagine. Is there no perhaps potential for like a Lowland League reconstruction or anything? I know there was potential talks of that may happen. Is that might help that scenario perhaps?
So what my understanding is, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm just going to say it. The Lowland League would need to change its rules and constitution to go up to 18 teams. It can go up to 17 teams without changing anything. So my understanding is they were going to go to 17 teams regardless next year because of the whole Brecon scenario. But I think it now works because if Bo'ness go up and Stranraer Reserves are declared winners of the South, it doesn't actually affect anything. So even if Kelty stayed in, it would be 17 teams. If Kelty go up like they should do, it'll be 16 teams and no changes. But the other issue with the Lowland is they're going to have to add extra relegation at some point. So if they go to 17, it'll be easier to put 2 in and then keep 2 in as relegation spots. That's still 16. There's going to be a fight to have with the likes of Dalbeattie, Gretna, and the teams that are battling against it, let's be honest. So there's another battleground coming there as well. They're all over the shop just now. But any other thoughts in the South, guys?
Guys, I mean, I've just had a wee look at the other now. I mean, I see what you're meaning. I mean, you've got 10 points between like Threave and Stranraer Reserves, but I feel that Threave have got a good call on, going up with that. But if it does go by the points per game and Stranraer do Stranraer actually have a licence that they'd be able to go up?
No, reserve teams aren't allowed in Tier 5 and above, is the pyramid rule, basically. So the likes of Stirling Reserves in East of Scotland, Stranraer's, Annan have had reserves in South of Scotland as well. They can't go higher than that level. Basically, it's in the rules for that.
So yeah, I think in that instance, you would probably suggest that the South of Scotland would probably push for Threave. I can't see them pushing for Stranraer to get the champion. I mean, it's it's a title for them, but like realistically, give it to Threave, I would say, because they're the ones that have the chance to go up to the Lowland League. I can't see them giving it to Stranraer and then robbing one of their member clubs a chance to actually get promoted, if that's what Threave want, obviously.
Yeah. So hypothetical question then, just to throw it out to all these. would there be any objections to the South of Scotland going different and just declaring Threave as their champion club?
Not for me. It makes sense for me. I mean, I don't think it makes much sense calling Stranraer the champions. If you're, it depends on Threave. You know, Threave have obviously been in the Lowland League before, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
So if they want to go up and they have the facility to do so and the ambition and whatnot, then I have no issues with it. And I don't think the South of Scotland or Stranraer reserves will, other than the fact that they might lose out on a title. But to be honest, grand scheme of things, Threave have every right to go up, in my opinion.
What about the rest of you guys? You'd be...
I'm a sort of, I don't know, it's, I don't have the figure right in front of me, so I can't tell you exactly how things stand at the moment with it, but if we can justify it, so be it. But the good thing about the Lowland League, the East of Scotland, hopefully the West as well, and the South of Scotland, they've all worked quite collaboratively in the past. So I don't know, I'd like to see everybody sort of fall in the same sort of remit with how they go about declaring their leagues. And if it is points per game, I think it would be a bit strange if they went a different route and just sort of did their own thing. It maybe knocks on integrity a little bit for me, but I'd like everybody to follow the same suit and sort of do it the United front. But again, I don't want to take away from one team's opportunity to play in the Lowland League.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to obviously do.
Would three not become the automatic team to go up then if Stranraer reserves can't actually get promoted? That'll just be the case that maybe Stranraer reserves can be the league champions, but Threave are getting the first spot in promotion.
Not as things stand just now. If you're not the champion, you can't get promoted, basically.
Oh, okay.
Is the way the rules are. That might change. We don't know. But that was the whole debate about the South of Scotland being at the same level as the West and the East as well, though. Because if a reserve team's going to be a champion, what's the point? But if they declare Threave the winners, technically you could get in a situation next year where Celtic go up with reconstruction, Threave come up, so do Bo'ness. You get a 17-team league with 2 relegations, go down to 16 in the year after, but keep the 2 relegation spots. I think that's probably the best thing the Lowland could do, to be honest, because there has to be more than one relegation spot going forward.
And just a note on Threave as well, guys. Threave have a much stronger outfit than they in all due respect, had the last time they were in the Lowland League. They've got a lot of former Lowland League players playing for them and guys with quite a high standard. So I think they would be a welcome addition, and I just don't see. I think it would be very unfair to declare Stranraer reserves who have known they can't come into the Lowland League anyway. Why take away someone's opportunity or a member club's opportunity when they're pretty much on top at the moment? I wouldn't understand that decision if they didn't get the chance.
That's what they have the opportunity to do, Stranraer. They have, because it's in those rules. If it's something that they're not wanting to do, they shouldn't really have reserve teams, or they should have the rules changed obviously around that. But by having Stranraer in there and having the rules the way that they are, that's the way that the league gets set up. So by not winning the league, I don't think they've necessarily had a spot robbed from them. I don't know if they're against having reserve teams in the league.
But in fairness, Shaun, Threave are actually top at the moment, and Stranraer would only win on points per game. So Threave are technically top at the moment. So you wouldn't really be robbing them of anything. It would only be down to points per game that would rob them off the opportunity.
Let's be honest. It's there's no right answer, is there? But personally, I kind of fall with what Chris and Ben were saying there. I kind of quite like the idea that Threave would get a chance to come up. And if it doesn't work out for them, they'll just go straight back down and they'll be all right. There's no difference there, but they're not the same team that played Kelty in the playoff that year. Kelty scaled them about 9-1, something like that in aggregate. They're a much stronger side now. So I think they'd give the likes of Dalbeattie, Vale, these kind of teams a run for their money. In all honesty, I think they're good enough to come up. So it'd be a shame if they were denied that. Just personal opinion, anyway.
I can't disagree with you on that, mate. I mean, I would say bring Threave up definitely, but I mean, how do you guys feel about like with Vale leaving, being at the bottom of the Lowland League? I mean, I know they've had a few problems, of course. The elephant in the room being the floodlights thing. I mean, how do you feel with with Vale leaving, being at the bottom? They were thinking, well, because of what's happened, we're going to stay. But I feel sorry for other teams, as you're saying with Bo'ness. I feel sorry for a team like Hillabeth.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Vale, they were given a year's kind of derogation by the SFA. So you kind of need to give the benefit of the doubt there. The SFA have said, aye, okay then. And their floodlights will be in, by the way. Chris Anderson confirmed that because I asked him. Because if they didn't get their floodlights in by the start of next season, they would get relegated. That was the way it was set up. So I'm all right with it. I'm quite comfortable with the fact that the Lowland and the East have both said no relegation, because it's a weird situation that you just can't legislate for. So it looks like that's the way the SPFL is going to go as well with no relegation. If this 14-10-10-10 comes in, I'm comfortable with it as long as it's a 1 year thing and it gets settled. But I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that front as well.
I think, personally, the no relegation thing is the right thing to do. I think, obviously, declaring a champion has a different effect, but relegation could really, really harm the majority of the clubs that they do actually get relegated, because that whole disparity in the change, I've used disparity twice now, imagine that, big words. The big change to their kind of like their financials and kind of where they're playing and their competitive level quality is a bigger effect than perhaps getting promoted or being declared a league champion or things like that. So yeah, no relegation is good for me.
I agree. I think in terms of Vale itself I think it would have been very harsh on them. They were 3 points away from Dalbeattie, who they still had to play, and they were 2 games in hand over Edinburgh Uni. So, I mean, realistically, they weren't far away. I mean, they hadn't had the greatest of seasons. I think the Vale boys that I spoke to obviously admitted that. But, yeah, I mean, I think it would have been incredibly harsh if they got relegated. But one of the things about the floodlights, I remember speaking to the Vale chairman, who's a really nice guy, when I was there watching them against East Stirlingshire. And that was one of the things he said. I would have hated to get relegated on the floodlight issue. Mm-hmm. On the pitch, he had no issues, but floodlight issues, floodlights and whatnot, he said it himself. He doesn't want to get relegated for that. And I think it would have been the same had they been relegated for this circumstance. I think he would have felt a wee bit hard done by there.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right there. But aye, that kind of leads us neatly in, pro radio here, by the way, folks, to Stirling Albion claiming that by having no relegation, the Lowland League have ditched their obligations to the pyramid. So before I go on a rant, somebody jump in and discuss it for me.
They totally have. They totally have, mate. Yeah, the Lowland League they're not opening doors at all. Bonus aren't coming up and whatnot. No, I think the issue is we're waiting on Bonus. I think it's due to the licensing, so that'll probably get declared quite soon if they get their license, as far as I'm aware. So they will be getting promoted. So I don't know how we've stifled or not been involved in the pyramid if Bonus are in fact going to be probably promoted, and perhaps maybe Freve, as we talked about, or another team in East of Scotland, depending on what happens with Kelty. So what a ridiculous claim, but it fits the narrative of some of these teams that we've been used to. It's a wee bit worrying about if other League 2 teams take that sort of similar view, but it's very hypocritical, because if they're saying what they said about with the disregard of the pyramid, if the SPFL disregards Brora and Kelty Hearts, they're doing the exact same thing. So what a joke, really, to be honest.
Just to make sure we're giving this a fair airing before we get right into it, I should probably read out the exact wording that they've put in their statement as well. So underneath the relevant external factors they've said that the Highland and Lowland Leagues have been concluded for season 19-20. There's no relegation from the Highland League. There is relegation from the Lowland League, but this has been suspended following the curtailment of the season, and as a consequence, the Lowland League has suspended its full obligations to the pyramid structure. So that's the wording they've used. The whole statement reeks of self-preservation. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's just, there's very strong rumours going about that Cowdenbeath are leading a group of League 2 clubs to try and put pressure on to avoid an automatic relegation spot from League 2 regardless of what happens. And this tells me that Stirling are on board with that. And I hate it, because you've got so many of these clubs now that they're basically scared of what's coming, because they know there's several teams, a lot of them in the West, let's be honest, because the East have had the exposure now for a couple of years to the pyramid, that are going to hit the ground running and get a wee bit more investment, suddenly top of the Lowland and challenging to go up. And a lot of these League 2 sides I've never had anything to worry about are suddenly going to be nervously thinking, we're going to go down where Berwick are and where East Stirlingshire are. And you can't think like that. It's not the right thing for football in this country. And you can't, on the one hand, argue for more money and argue for more opportunities to go up the levels if you're not willing to do it in the reverse side of things. So it's a really poorly worded statement for Stirling, I think. And George Fraser was right on it straight away, standing his ground for the league. So fair play to George. He didn't throw a mad one like I might have threw a mad one, but all the comments are kind of on my side there as well. I think that pretty much everyone's having a go at Stirling Albion, including their own fans.
I would respect any team that actually came out and said that. Like if Cowdenbeath came out and said, look, we're looking at it from this point of view. If Kelty get into the league, we're probably potentially going to lose fans because they're local. They're going to lose income. They're going to probably lose sponsors, perhaps, if Kelty become more successful than them. If Donald Finlay or someone like that, or anyone in Cowdenbeath came out and said, look, we're looking at it from the best interests of our club and not making up their own narrative, then I would have complete respect for that. But the problem is they're not. They're making up their own narrative, like how the Lowland League's closed off and all this sort of nonsense. If they literally came and said, right, it's survival for us, we're focusing on ourselves, we don't really have any interest in the Lowland League or Highland League, you've got to say, fair enough. I mean, they're maybe not right in it, but at least they're actually telling it like it is. But the problem with this, or what had the wee sentence or whatever you said, it's not accurate.
Have Stirling, what's the deal with Stirling as a team? Are they a team that could be relegated? Are they kind of low in division where they're at risk?
They were in trouble for a good bit of the year, and then they started picking results up again. But on a bad season, they could easily be in Brechin's position. They're not a club that are going to be challenging at the top of League Two anytime soon, as far as I can see. So I think they're more worried about below than above, put it that way.
Right. So they're a team that's kind of maybe been punching above their weight because they've been protected for so long within the 42 club structure. Now they're talking about bigging your likes your Kelties coming up who look like they're progressive. They're really interested in going up as far as they can. So they're just a wee bit scared and kind of.
Stirling's your classic League One, League Two yo-yo club.
Right.
League One tends to be their high point. They don't really get up to Championship level. But there's loads of clubs that fit in that bracket now. And Brechin are one of them. They got to Championship 1 year and then collapsed all the way down to the bottom of League Two. So,
well, I'm just having a wee look at the league table there. I mean, you're saying about like automatic relegation and everything. I mean, you've got Brechin who are sitting at the bottom, right? Then you've got Albion Rovers who are just above them. I mean, Albion Rovers were sitting near the bottom for a good point. I can't remember if it was last season before.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel teams should be scared because, I mean, you've got teams like Kelty and Bonnyrigg who have been absolutely different class in the lower league. I mean, I've seen both teams live, absolutely different class. But the thing is, I think a lot of the teams in there are scared if, as you're saying, if Kelty and Bonnyrigg say for example, they were to bring Kelty and Brora up, and then if they did sort it out, and then say Bonnyrigg were to come up, say maybe the following season or something, I think they're scared, not just, as you say, you're saying Cowdenbeath regarding the financial side. I think it would be the football side as well, because they're scared that they're going to lose potentially quite heavily because Bonnyrigg and that have proven it against different teams.
I think that's a fair comment. Aye. They're going to raise the standards of League Two when they get there, because they've already got good squads and they'll only improve. Look at Cove Rangers this year. Cove basically had their Highland League squad with a few additions, and they've scooshed the league, absolutely scooshed it. Edinburgh City coming second and all. So the two promoted sides have just proven why they're scared. Let's be honest.
Two great coupon teams, eh?
Two great coupon teams.
Edinburgh City and Cove Rangers. That's as much as I know about the Lowland League, League Two. Sorry, get them the coupon. Like pretty much a banker every week.
It was funny actually. I don't know if you guys spotted this further a wee bit down, but their proposal of 14-14-14 would affect Cove Rangers because Cove Rangers would still technically be at the bottom league, and it was kind of like, sorry Cove, we know you've done great, but so yeah, they're not paying any regard to Cove Rangers either, unfortunately. So
the thing is, their idea of the 14-14-14 I think is quite sound in principle, but the problem is we're now in this situation, and as you say, it adversely affects like a Cove and so on. If you were going to put that forward, now's not really the time to do it. You need to make sure there's fairness, and the word of fairness keeps getting brought up by the SPFL when they're talking about this. But fairness isn't locking out Kelty and it isn't locking out Brora. You need to get them promoted to have fairness. And they wouldn't get properly in with the 14s. I'll leave it home to somebody else before I start losing my mind.
You know what I really liked about the Stirling statement was the fact about bragging about using WhatsApp and Zoom. I was like, I mean, that just shows progressive club, Stirling Albion. They use Zoom and WhatsApp, guys. I was impressed by that. I like that one.
To be fair,
Forefront of thought.
To be fair, I don't think they use any of that Cowden beef, but just to note, obviously we mentioned Cowden beef side of things, probably a wee bit fearful with Kelty, but Stirling, I think it's important to know that they lost a lot of players to Lowland League teams as well. The likes of Neil McLaughlin, Gareth Roger went to Gallifreydine, so it could be that sense of it as well, that there are players League Two standard that are looking now, well, maybe I'm better off playing at a Lowland League team. So there's that to it as well. There's certainly a lot of different aspects to this whole thing. But yeah, I think given that statement today, and it's interesting. Obviously, you mentioned Cowden Beefs. They've been there with the playoffs. They were very lucky against East Kilbride. They were kind of lucky against Cove. It doesn't surprise me that Cowden Beef are leading this, because they're the one team that's sort of been in that situation twice, and I don't think they're going to be a third time lucky. But in fairness to Cowden Beef, I know they get mentioned a lot, but they've actually improved quite a lot on the pitch this season. So it doesn't shock me that they're leading this, given their previous,
Here's a question for you, Kelty boys. Where do you guys think Kelty are capable of getting to in terms of like coming up from the Lowland League? Do you think you're actually going to be up there challenging League Two next season?
Yeah, I think so. It depends. I think it depends who's in it. If Cove are still in it, then Cove will still be, still a top team, obviously. I think Cove, Edinburgh City. But yeah, I would assume that Kelty would be a top team. I think they probably could go as high as League One. But, I don't want to look further than that, obviously, because there would be a lot of different factors on who's coming up and who's coming down. Like, obviously, Partick are going to be in League One next season. We've seen the likes of Falkirk and Raith in League One. So, but yeah, I think Kelty would be up there and challenging. But given this statement, I think it's less likely that Brora and Kelty are going to be in league football next season, given that statement.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? I think it would be scandalous if Brora and Kelty don't go up. Just putting cards on the table, that's the one thing they need to do, I think. And they've kind of hamstrung themselves by constantly talking about fairness when they're talking about getting this reconstruction sorted. If the two of them don't go up, they've gone against what they've said their goal was. Would it be unusual for the SPFL to hamstring themselves and mess up? Who knows?
To Ben's sort of question, whether Kelty will be able to compete, I think until we see a team make that step up, I think there's such a difference in quality, to be honest, between League Two and the Lowlands and the Highland, to be fair, to an extent as well. But until I see a team go up and struggle to compete, I think I'm going to have confidence that every team that goes up for a wee while are going to do really well and sort of compete up near the top. Not just Kelty. I think if Bonnyrigg were to go up, I think they'd be the same. I think they'd be competing up near the top of the league as well. I can't speak as much for the teams up in the Highlands, but Brora certainly, I think they'll go up, and I think they've got every opportunity sort of going above some of the teams as well.
So, I think we might have found something unusual in Scottish football, which is total agreement. Just breathe it in. But I guess that leads us on to what do you actually see happening now? We can obviously go into a wee bit of fantasy football here, but do you actually see the SPFL getting reconstruction through, or do you think nothing changes?
I'm thinking, if it does happen, right, and they do have the reconstruction, and you keep the Premier as it is now with the 12 teams, of course you're bringing up Dundee United. If you were to bring up another team, now I know a lot of people would disagree with me here, but you'd bring up, say, Inverness, that would give you your 14, and then you're bringing your other teams up, so like your Raith Rovers, and then of course your Coves and everything. Am I right in thinking if they were to bring it up and level it out, would there be 2 spaces in League Two?
Yeah. So
what you would do then is you would bring in Kelty, which should happen. Then I would say you'd bring in Brora, and then, as I say, that would then save Brecon from being, relegated for the current time. And then you say to yourself, right, okay, you've got the space in the Lowland League. You bring up Bo'ness, because I think like your team like Bo'ness, Trinent, Harrington, and all that, who have went and they've got their initial things. They get their license. Bo'ness go up. You make the Lowland League as it is level again at 16. You want to bring another one up? Yeah, you could put 3 in there as well and make it 17. I think that's what should happen. Make it a 14, 10, 10, 10, and then, as I say, the Lowland League as it is. And then, as you were saying with East of Scotland as well, I think East of Scotland, the way they're going now, they're going to keep the conferences again. I think it's a great idea, but I feel they need to look at levelling it off and either going, as you're saying earlier on in the conversations, to 3 divisions. Why don't they go back to the old way and go back to just 2 divisions, but make it automatic, promotion and relegation? So like maybe either 2 up, 2 down, or 3 up, 3 down. What do you think of that?
I think that's their kind of grand plan anyway. Because they said when they were keeping the conferences for one more year, that was the idea, basically, to go back to your, say, Premier Division 1, Division 2, and so on. So I think they're thinking the same thing, which is good, in my opinion. But I kind of agree with you, Craig, to be honest with everything you've said. I think that's the most likely thing to happen, the 14-10 down, and then what you've said with the non-leagues as well. But anyone else want to chime in? Any kind of harbingers of doom out there?
But for me, it's you see when we talk about the teams that are against seeing that reconstruction and seeing Kelty and Brora coming up, I'm not sure if they realise that in Kelty and Brora they're going to threaten their place in League 2, I think. But the alternative is getting your Edinburgh City and Cove Rangers staying in the league, and I'm all for Brora and Kelty doing well, but I still think Cove and Edinburgh City are. It's not like your Stirling Albions and your Cowden Beasts are going to be in a stronger position with those teams versus having Kelty and Brora are going to take the place, say, to the 2 teams at the top of League 2 if that reconstruction takes place. I don't think stopping that from happening is necessarily preserving these teams. So I don't know, it's quite an interesting one. I do think the 14-10-10 is the most likely scenario if reconstruction does go ahead, but whether it does or not is another story. That's what we've got to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think if there's a lot of self-preservation happening in the higher leagues, with likes of Hearts and Partick and all that kind of want to stay. The 14 at the top seems like the likely scenario certainly for one season, because if the likes of Ambudge and all that are driving the kind of whole reconstruction talks, you're going to imagine that that's probably how they're going to be aiming for that to keep themselves up in the league. I'm okay with Hearts staying up again. It's the same thing. I'd rather not see a team relegated unfairly rather than just make sure but it's got to happen right through. I don't think it's a case of doing it just at Hearts' level to protect Hearts and then not do that for the rest of the leagues. I think the other thing I was going to ask about was, see, in the Lowland League in terms of the relegation spots, you talked about potentially two having 2 kind of automatic relegation spots. Is that then, do we think, going to be like one from the west, one from the east going forward? Or do we think it's going to be kind of like a playoff type scenario? Like, I mean, that's been kind of suggested already about potentially a playoff, but do you think we'll actually have like one west, one east going up in the next kind of few years?
Can't happen. South of Scotland as well. Same
of course. I'm coming in from a blinkered west approach here.
Do you hear that, Bonington? You're playing him next year.
I'm looking forward to that game, by the way, that playing Bonnet and that, because when the Bonnet obviously are almost like a glorified youth side, really, let's be honest, run by Alan Robertson, who was the head of youth at Kilmarnock, so he's bringing through talented kids by the sounds of it. But yeah, looking forward to having a shot at Bonington for sure.
Just a final note. Given that I don't know what the vote's going to be like, if it's going to be like you're going to have so many votes from League 2, so many votes from League 1 Championship and stuff. But I think, given Stirling Albion's statement, I truly believe that there's 42 SPFL teams now. There'll be 42 SPFL teams after all this. I think it will stay the same. Given the fact that they've already decided that teams are going to be relegated and promoted, I think that's a big warning sign for me. So 12-10, 10-10 is the way it's going to stay for me, I think, unfortunately.
That's what I'm scared of, I'll be honest. I think there'll be a massive bite back if they do that, though.
Would they care, Mozza? Would they care? I mean,
imagine imagine a clapback though from the likes of Kelty when they go up eventually, if that's happening. They'll just absolutely scoosh through League Two and basically two fingers up at them. You know, it's there's no point in building animosity for no reason. And we're not asking them to relegate Brecon. We're not asking them to do anything outlandish. All we're asking for is a sense of fairness to promote the champion clubs. And I don't see the issue with that. Obviously, there's other thoughts on the way it's gone because Anne Budge is leading it. And Anne Budge is obviously trying to save Hearts. So there's different angles of ways people are looking at it. But at its core, we're purely asking for those two teams to get the shot they deserve at the SPFL. Simple as that.
Yeah, surely if Stirling obviously are a wee bit concerned about their own safety, letting like Kelty and Brora come up now is probably better for them, because the potentially could happen is the following season Kelty play low in league again, win that easy, and then Stirling have an absolute stinker and finish bottom, and then they're back down the following season. Whereas if you let Kelty and Brora come up now, there's probably more chance that they'll get a bit of protection for a few more years rather than maybe being potentially papped down in the next available opportunity.
Yeah, I'd personally agree with that. I had a wee to and from with Stenhousemuir's chairman recently as well, because they put a different angle forward, basically saying that relegation should be postponed for 2 years for League Two, the Highland London. I naturally disagreed with that, imagine that. But the point he put forward was basically, if next season goes ahead and Steny finish bottom, for example, they're going to be heavily financially impacted, more so than we would normally. I would argue that bringing up Brora and Kelty with kind of energised fans, bigger fan bases that are going to want to experience league football for the first time could benefit these clubs and get a wee bit more money in the bank. There's going to be more fans going to see new grounds that they've not been to before and that kind of thing. So I don't see the aversion to it, because if you're looking at it purely what you're saying there, Ben, Cove and Edinburgh are going to scoosh 1-2 again, you think, or at least be top four. The sides are still going to be in the same position that are going to be fighting against relegation if they don't bring in reconstruction. So why wouldn't you bring in the two sides for lower down in the hope they're not going to be as strong as Cove and Edinburgh City? You know?
Exactly. I think that would be the logical point of view. But it seems like, as I say, a bit of self-preservation and maybe a kind of naive approach from the likes of Stirling with their statement.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm starting to think the likes of Anne Budge being on that is just a smokescreen. I think it really is, and George Fraser and the Highland guys, I think it's just a smokescreen to put the proposal across. It'll get rejected, and again we'll be stuck the same. I'm starting to believe that. Certainly the statements like Stirling Albion's today. I'm
not so sure it's a smokescreen. I just think Anne Budge is put in front of it and charge it so she couldn't bring legal action against it, to be honest.
That's probably right, man.
If it doesn't work out, it's on her head, be it. So I think they've been quite clever the way they've put her in charge of it, to be honest. But there was always going to be, regardless how it happened, League Two teams that were nervous about reconstruction because of what's below. And that's always going to be the case, no matter what happens in the future. So we just need to find a way of getting it through with kind of the least resistance possible, you know, purely from a selfish non-league side of things. We need to find a way of getting that automatic spot by hook or by crook, in my opinion.
We mentioned Stranraer there, obviously, Muzza. We kind of had a talk with the guy, and he actually came across really well. And as I mentioned about being respectful to guys that actually come out and say, right, I'm only doing what I think's best for my club. He actually came out. He was one of them guys, and I have massive respect for that. And but if that's the attitude of guys, chairmen at clubs throughout all levels of Scottish football, then that's what I really have. This is what's bringing me doubt that anything's going to change, really.
Ian McMenemy, chairman of Stenhousemuir, basically said that he suggested a recovery period of 2 years, but that's not for this current season. It's just been declared finished. It was for next season and the season after. And he said, in the circumstances, I hope we bring both Kelty and Brora up. For the next 2 seasons, advocate a pause in relegation to the Highland and Lowland leagues. Actually advocating a pause from the Lowland as well, giving everyone a chance to financially recover. So that was his point of view. I think he softened up, though, when we had a wee bit of to and fro on it, to be fair to him. So, because my point was, well, what's the point in any Lowland sides playing the next 2 years then? You've got nothing to play for other than a trophy. The whole point of being in the Lowland League for most clubs is you want to take the step up to league football. If you take that away for 2 years, fan bases are going to drop off. Clubs are going to make less money. There's going to be less interest in the league. You're going to undo all the good work that's been done the last few years.
It goes back to my point. Like, I don't think they care. They only care about their own club. So you can respect that in one sense, but is it for the betterment of Scottish football? Absolutely not.
But that's why I quite respected what he came back with, because when I put that point to him, he kind of went, well, do you know what, I see it. He didn't just dismiss it. So I much prefer someone that's willing to back up their thoughts that way, rather than some like Stirling Albion have done, put a statement out and then just go quiet. But they've put inaccuracies in their statement as well, and then they've just disappeared. I'm much rather a bit of to and fro, and I can respect his point of view for that, to be honest.
I feel for like the lower league clubs, because you've seen how good it's been this season. Kelty and Bonnyrigg, totally dominating. But the teams underneath have had a decent go on. I've not really seen much live to let you know, guys, but I have seen it, highlights on like YouTube channels and everything. Like teams like East Stirlingshire and all that. Like teams that haven't. You're saying about teams that are going to maybe lose out and all that. If you've got, say, teams like your Falkirks and your Stirling, for example, you've got East Stirlingshire who are sharing the Falkirk Stadium. Of course, Stirling Uni sharing Fourth Bank. Depending on what the crowd's coming in and that, are any of these clubs actually making a lot of money off these, ground shares? Like, of course, like Edinburgh City's doing with Spartans.
That's a point we need to ask them, to be honest. The only thing I know is that Steny have been pretty badly affected by Shire leaving that stadium, because they've lost that income, and Shire are paying less at the Falkirk Stadium, so that gives you an idea.
Not to quote anyone, Mozza, but I believe the words were that Steny were kind of robbing them.
I didn't say that.
No, I think from what I heard, it wasn't just the stadium. It was like the snack bar and the bloody what was it? The functions and everything taking a bit more than they should have. So I think that's why Shire moved, from my insider knowledge.
These are the views of Chris, known as Rampant FM, not of the podcast.
Just put a disclaimer at the start of the episode.
I'm sure, to be honest, I'm sure if Shire were being honest, they would say the same, but,
Yeah, Shire aren't the kind of team to burn bridges, are they? Put it that way. They'll quite happily keep mum on it, I'd suspect, but I'd heard much the same. I think pretty much the whole of Scottish football has heard much the same on that front. But yeah, it's obviously another thing to consider with ground shares, because, well, my own club, BSC, don't make as much money as we could because we're paying a ground sharing fee. It's a necessity just now until we have our own ground. So it's just something else to factor into what is a horrendous situation for every Scottish football club, regardless of the level you're at. Because they're now saying, I guess this is where this conversation goes on to finish up. They're now saying we might not have any crowds at any grounds for the rest of the calendar year. It's getting more important now than ever before to offer the support to the local clubs as well.
Yep.
And I know, Chris, you've mentioned from the Catchup Twitter about the ticket campaign. Can you explain a wee bit of that for anyone that doesn't know about it?
Yeah, it was set up by, I think, 4 guys called Donate a Ticket, and it was basically, if you were going to go to a game, well, SPFL 2 as well, I know Raith Rovers are kind of leading the leaderboard from what I saw. Yeah, the Lowland League teams signed up for it. I think there's one South of Scotland team signed up for it as well, but the clubs have to sign up for it before they can do anything, basically. But the majority of the Lowland League signed up for it now. I think the majority East of Scotland, Highland League, South. As I say, I think there's only one South of Scotland team that I saw recently. But basically, you don't. If you were going to go to a game, you pay your £7 or £6, whatever it would have been, to them, and basically that would be your match day ticket, and that goes directly to the clubs. I don't think they take any fees or commission or that off that, so it goes, whatever you're paying to donate a ticket goes straight to the clubs. I don't know when they get it, obviously, if it's when it's all shut down, but I'm sure if you go to the website or I get them on Twitter, I'll explain things in detail a bit more. But yeah, I've seen a lot of East of Scotland teams very high up in the leaderboards. There are a lot of Fife teams like Glenrothes and that. I've noticed, it's fantastic what they're doing, and obviously there's a lot of fans obviously donating their own we GoFundMe pages and stuff like that as well. So that's
Glenafton, Irvine Vicks, Hurlford. Personally, Cowan, and we're not involved. We actually launched what we call the Buffs Foundation, which is essentially more kind of along the lines of a kind of like supporters trust type movement, where we're gonna. You've got two options of paying into a kind of monthly subscription, whether it's £10 or kind of £10 a month, or £40 a month, or £10 a week, and you get kind of range of benefits as part of that. So we haven't looked at the donate a ticket thing for that reason, because we don't want to obviously expect too much of fans. If fans start paying in now to our kind of Bus Foundation, which they have done, and we've got about 40 people kind of agreed to sign up at various levels and bringing in a good sum of money to the club. But if we start bringing in, say, even 15, 20 of those people just now, starting from scratch, paying in, we don't really need to go down the donate a ticket route. We did yesterday, for example, launch a kind of a hidden team type event where you can pay your £6 and you've got a chance of winning £300, which is a wee different thing to do, keep it fun, more light-hearted. But nah, we haven't done that route, but certainly looking at the list, there's lots of clubs there, which is cool to see. I don't know how much of it's given an uptake for each club, but certainly, I mean, looking just from a West Premier, Hurlford, West Largs, Rutherglen, Ross Vale. I mean, there's plenty of our clubs in the Premiership there involved in that. So it looks like a good scheme. Definitely a way forward if fans kind of want to pay it forward almost. Hopefully there's like some sort of way we can kind of, the fans can get kind of rewarded for that. Maybe doing a kind of, if you signed up for a game in April, you can come to the first game of the season for free or something like that. Would make more sense to do it that way than just hand over money. But yeah, good initiative from whoever has set us up for sure.
Yeah, so you can find them at Donate a Ticket, if I remember rightly, on their Twitter, if you want to have a look, folks. And obviously, as Ben says, not every club's doing it that way. Some clubs are going the fundraising route. They've had, a couple of League Two clubs, for example, have raised great amounts, just doing Just Giving pages, that kind of thing. So find your club, support them how you can, and when this does eventually come out, they'll be able to hit the ground running, hopefully. And fingers crossed we don't lose any clubs, obviously, over the next few months to come, and this all gets sorted out eventually. I'll leave that to the Brains Trust rather than the likes of myself, though.
Some of these Scotland teams are looking at it as well. I mean, and it's good. That's a good initiative that they're going to look at. But I would just want to say, guys, if I want to just bring a couple of things regarding East of Scotland, Musselburgh have went and brought in 2 additional players. They've went and got Dean Ballantyne from Dunbar, who's an amazing goal scorer, and they've brought back Brad Donaldson from Trinent. What do you think of that?
Brad Donaldson. I don't really know too much about the first guy, but Brad Donaldson's a great signing for them.
That's the other thing that will be quite interesting to see how clubs now go about signing up players for the new campaign. I know it's Drumchapel, who have just joined the West of Scotland, have signed up Willie Lyle already, which looks a phenomenal signing on the face of it.
Willie Dyer.
Willie Dyer. Apologies. Did I say Willie Lyle there? But aye, phenomenal signing. A guy who's been in the senior levels all his life. So, am I right in saying that John Connolly's now along at Drumchapel as well as a coach?
John Connolly left the Fall House, I think, in January or something. Seems to be in amongst the Drumchapel. I think I was rumoured for quite a bit that John was involved in. If anybody follows John on Twitter, he's quite vocal, shall we say, on Twitter. It's John. He's a good read. I'll give him that. He's a good read. But he's involved, and there's a few others. With St Cadoc's, the other team's coming. They've got Johnny Miller. Is involved. He's been involved in kind of. I think he was at Beeve at one point, Beeve Juniors. So he's the manager there at St Cadoc's. So they're bringing in. That's a bold statement if I ever saw one. In terms of the kind of these newer clubs that are coming through.
And they've got big Mark McLaughlin signed up as a coach now as well. Ex-Clyde, Hamilton, going back to Mary Hill back in the day as well. So they've made some really interesting moves. It is 2 new sides, isn't it? Aye, the 2 new sides.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, as the months roll on, as we get closer to football, fingers crossed.
Talking about clubs surviving, obviously it's been news recently that Craig Royston are managing to keep their team. They were going to sort of maybe take a few years out or even potentially fold, but they're going to survive. And obviously one of the 10 teams that are coming into the East of Scotland, Eyemouth United, are coming back as well. So
Yeah.
that's obviously great news there
Great to know.
for East of Scotland.
That's
brilliant
great.
news.
That's great to hear, by the way, guys. I mean, Eyemouth is a great wee ground, great wee enclosed ground down at Eyemouth, and it's brilliant news regarding Craig Royston. I mean, St Mark's Park has been used, for cup finals, for semi-finals. It was great, kept up, and then of course they had a bit of a problem, with a break-in and everything as well. But I mean, Jordan Sheeran did go there to try and do a job, but unfortunately, he couldn't do the job. But he went back, of course, to Cowdenbeath. But that's great to hear, as I say, Eyemouth coming in, Craig Royston surviving. I mean, what's your thoughts with other teams? I mean, who's the other teams that are coming in?
I think it's mainly just sort of East Premier. I don't know too much. My knowledge of these juniors is going down, but I know it's the likes Lochgelly Albert, Fortin Hibs. I know them mainly because they're like local to me. But I know they're sort of. I don't know the full list, to be honest with you, Craig.
I'll see if I can pull it up very quickly just now. I don't think this is a fully confirmed list as yet. I do know Edinburgh South are on it, who have not got anything to do with the juniors of the East of Scotland. So they are a kind of ambitious amateur side that are strongly rumoured to be one of the 10.
If it's Edinburgh South, the one I'm thinking of from the amateurs, they're a decent side. I mean, I've watched a lot of amateur football over the last year or so, guys. I mean, Edinburgh South are not a bad side. I mean, that's the other thing. It's looking like they're potentially going to be calling the leagues as well. So in the amateur ranks. So, I mean, Edinburgh South, yeah, I mean, all the best of them, definitely.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't find the full list. I've got it tucked away somewhere in the deepest, darkest corners of this computer. But one of the interesting ones, Lancarty's rumoured to be one of the applicants because, if I remember rightly, they're right on the Highland-Lowland border, and they might be slightly on the Highland side. So we'll need to see what happens in that front. But obviously, the East of Scotland will announce at some point who the new applicant teams are if they're all accepted, and we'll go from there. I don't think the West of Scotland ever did confirm the team that was refused, but that has leaked out. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a team called Scoutable United.
Scoutable United, great name.
It sounds like somebody's created them in Football Manager, but it was basically a team put together of old YTS boys that were looking for a gig, and I know they've managed to get players into Kilburnley, for example, Maryhill, a couple other West sides. So they just didn't have everything in place that was needed. Basically, they had a flyer and it didn't quite work out. So we'll see if they come back at some point. But I'm delighted to see so many teams in the West of Scotland, because now with the West East, apparently the South's had some interest as well, with a couple of amateur sides looking to jump in. So it's only getting stronger.
With the West of Scotland, is that going to be similar to the Lowland League, with being 16 teams?
That's the idea for the Premier League when it gets going. So they've agreed on conferences.
Conferences, yeah.
For season 1. For 67 teams, you're going to need 4 conferences. Possibly even 5, but I think they'll go to 4.
Probably 4 in it.
Aye. Then you've got the top 4 in each conference forms the Premier League. It makes it a bit simpler. The word is, though, that they might go straight into a Premier Division 1, Division 2 rather than keeping the conferences like the East have done. So we'll wait for the news this coming week when they're doing their conference call. But I think there's some voices saying, just do 1 year of conferences and go straight into a proper league setup with, say, 2 up, 2 down, 3 up, 3 down at each level. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they take it in.
Yeah, I think you probably find that the teams who are more kind of into the whole kind of want to be still juniors will want to kind of have 1 season of conference and go back to the kind of the Premier, first, second, etc. That's probably more likely to be the case. I think it'll be interesting to see. For me, the interesting point I think is about the conferences. What will happen in year 1? Will, for example, the winners of each conference play off to get in the Lowland League, for example? I wonder if that's how it'll play, or just be a case of conferences and just level off the leagues and then do the promotion the following year. I would like, for us personally speaking, is to have the conference. If you win your conference, you play the other conference champions in a kind of round robin best of 3 games, whatever, in terms of like a wee mini league, and that team gets promoted. That would be class. I think that would be really exciting. Because any team could potentially win it. I mean, a team from a current League 2 team could potentially smash it and go and get that position and go up and play like a Talbot or a Pollock or a Claybank or even ourselves potentially, and then you've got a chance at the Lowland League. Whereas if you wait for another year, that's delaying the fact that. But again, it might suit teams. It might suit the Western teams who are maybe not quite ready to get promoted. Like I know for ourselves, we hope to be ready for the following season for licensing, but with coronavirus and such like, it might be a wee bit of struggle to get things in place. So that might just be fine for a little bit of stability. I think the main one will be the Scottish Cup. For a lot of teams is getting into the Scottish Cup and getting the money you can get potentially from the Scottish Cup.
Well, the good news is because one of the clubs leaked it out, I can actually tell you what's happening. Because I think it was Dunbar put a statement out, and I don't know if they were meant to say it, but they did say it. So the idea is all the conference winners will go round robin. So exactly what you've just described. The winner of that goes into a promotion playoff with the East and the South if they've got licensed clubs. But for the conference playoffs in the West, it would only be licensed teams that can go into it, basically.
Yeah.
So that is a plan for what they've got. So straight for year dot, you've got a chance of getting up to the Lowland League, basically, which is the way it should be, to be honest.
And East of Scotland done that last season with the round robin as well. So
yeah, and it worked brilliantly. Like up until the last 5 minutes of the final game, it still was changing hands. Who was going?
Oh, really?
Like
that's
on
exciting.
The final day, you had different times. You had Pennycook were going up at one point, and then obviously Bonnyrigg as well. So it was brilliant. And myself and Shaun were at the Cove Rangers playoff game, keeping an eye on all the updates, and it was just wild, absolute wild kind of day. Because was it about 5 times it changed hands? Who was going up?
Honestly, it was just crazy. I mean, and the crowd, and it was the crowd. Was it the Bonnyrigg game? The second one was absolutely unbelievable. You know, I mean, up in the 4 figures range, which is absolutely phenomenal. You know, for a game of that magnitude.
But yeah, it's one thing you touched on a wee bit, Craig, and one, you know how you've mentioned obviously the amateur game. One thing I was made aware of, obviously, because we have been speaking to a few of the AMI guys, is their cup competitions from this season will be played to the end whenever football continues. So I thought that was an interesting call from the Scottish amateurs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great call, because I mean, you were basically down to your last 4. I mean, a team I've not had the pleasure of seeing yet, but I've heard a lot about, of course, is Tollcross Thistle. And Tollcross got to the semi-finals, and they were due to play their semi-final at the Fountainview Stadium at Hamilton. I mean, of course, with the stuff I do on the radio and that, I mean, we were wishing them all the best for it. And then, of course, what's happened, and it's great to know that they're going to play that out and give, not just as a Tollcross, but the other teams, not just in the Saturday section, but the Sunday section, a chance to actually win the Amateur Cup. So I think it's brilliant.
Yep, agreed, mate. And yeah, it was Tollcross that I've spoke to, obviously, a few weeks ago now, but it was them that sort of informed me. Which, yeah, I was hoping that would happen. It's an interesting call, because we've not really heard much about cup competitions we have obviously the Lowland League Cup, obviously that got suspended, but in terms of like the Scottish Cup, we've not really heard much. It's just been really, the league's been the focus basically. So yeah, I think it's a good call, especially being at a semi-final stage.
Well, I think there's much you can really do with the cups, because you really have to find a winner. So the only way you can really decide that is by playing the games out. So you're cancelling the games and making the cup competitions null and void, or you're waiting till, like the way the amateurs say, like Craig mentioned, playing it out at some point, which is I think the only other option. I think you have to decide now whether it's cancelled and finished or restarted at a later date.
It'll be a strange one to see what they do with the kind of the Lowland, East of Scotland type cups as well. The South of Scotland Challenge Cup being the main one. Given that we'd knocked out Kelty, I'd quite like to see that through, to be honest. But to be fair, I would tend to think they'll either play them in pre-season or they'll just null and void them. I don't know what you guys think.
Obviously, I think the main thing is what happens to the finalists. I think obviously for coming back to the West or the Junior Cup rather champions get into the Senior Scottish.
Yeah.
So there'll be teams like, for example, I think probably like Darvel, Kello, who are in the last 8 will want a crack at getting to that final, because I mean the chance of getting up to the Scottish Cup final is it's a big ticket for any West team. I would imagine any team that has a chance of getting that path into the Scottish Cup would want that game played. I think that's the only way. I think, as you say, for Cowan, we're disappointed that the league position is the way it is because we don't get in the Scottish Cup. So I think a lot of teams will be in that boat of, I really want to get a shot at that senior Scottish. I mean, you get 2 or 3 games, you'll probably make a few bob, which can help you with your licensing and stuff like that as well. So I think that'll be pretty important, certainly in the West, that they want to see that happen, whether it's, as I say, behind closed doors potentially, or it's at the start of a new season, if you like to decide the champions. I personally, going back to the kind of Talbot, Cowan and thing in them, I would like to play Talbot one more time in essentially winner takes all Scottish Cup match. I think that's what I'd like to see. I doubt it will happen because, well, let's face it, there's always a wee bit of Talbot favouritism, shall we say. I don't know if I can say that on this podcast, but I'm saying it anyway. And just to be clear, that's my own personal view and not the view of Cowan and Rangers or the official Catchup or anything. That's my own personal view. You can at me at Twitter at Mr. Ben Grant if you want to have a pop. But I think Talbot will get a Scottish Cup position deep down, but I would like to play them. Will we beat them? Who knows? But I'll have a chance. I want to have a go at them one more time. We need to avenge ourselves for that 6-1 demolition that happens in December. So that's what I'd be putting forward. I'm obviously not involved in any discussions about reconstructions or leagues or clone leagues or anything like that. I'm just a media guy and announcer at the football. But that's what I'd like to see. And I think maybe our teams would probably like that kind of opportunity as well.
There's a bit of pressure on you now, Craig, to say something controversial because I think we've all said.
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, Trinent were involved, back in the day with playing in the Junior Cup and all that. I mean, I've been away with them at different games and all that. I mean, we've had games like with Glenafton at Trinent in front of 2,500, and then with the controversial replay where the game shouldn't have been blooming played because of the amount of muck that was up the guy's socks. But hey, the thing was Glenafton went on and won the cup that year. But I'm just looking there. I mean, at the games when you had Beath to play either Darvel or Broughty, and then Pollock against either Auchinleck or Hurlford, I hope that day games do, take place because it's the oldest trophy gone, and I absolutely love going to the games. I mean, I was at both finals that Musselburgh lost to Auchinleck. The 2-1 game when Chris King got Musselburgh back into the game and then lost out. And then, of course, the one that Jordan Sheeran scored, still for me, one of the best volleys I've seen in a Junior Cup final. I still think these semi-finals and that should still be played. And I really hope, I'm not going to pick a winner, but I would like to see a different name on the trophy rather than Auchinleck.
Agreed. The Scottish Junior Cup is going to change forever after this anyway, so this is the kind of last. It's obviously changed already with the likes of some of these teams already dropping out, but this will be the last kind of Scottish Junior Cup as we know, because I think a lot of West teams are going to decide not to opt in for the junior membership next year, and that Scottish Junior Cup is going to be a bit of a misnomer. I think there's going to be quite a few teams missing from that. It's not going to have the same kind of excitement like Craig's talking about, like Glenafton playing Trinent and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to, you're not going to see that like that in that league, that competition. Obviously, I think there's been the discussions about the South Challenge Cup. It's mandatory now for all. So that's going to be probably as close as you're going to get to like a Scottish Cup, I would think, where you're going to get these kind of types of derbies back. I say derbies, like these kind of rivalry matches that you kind of get just purely in the Scottish Cup. So I think most teams will focus on that next year. But yeah, definitely play the Scottish Cup out till conclusion.
Yeah, I think you'll probably agree with me here, Chris. The South Challenge Cup's been really entertaining the last couple of years because you've had all these meetings between the kind of historic East Junior sides and the Lowland sides, and it's been really tough to predict. And I think we've been pretty much wrong half the time with predictions with these kind of games. But it's only going to take a step up now with the West of Scotland teams coming in, because it's the only tournament that basically everyone's going to get thrown in a pot and just see what happens. And I'm really looking forward to it. There'll be some right interesting wee ties in there with teams that have never played each other. And it's a great it's a great kind of addition to a season, the South Challenge Cup, especially if you get a few rounds through it and you get in a wee run. It's a really decent wee competition, and it hopefully will start building prestige now with all these sides in it.
And we should probably mention the fact that our main sponsors, the Soccer Shop Direct, actually became sponsors of the South Challenge Cup just before all this kicked off. So
Nice
I don't know
plug.
if it's the Soccer Shop Direct Challenge Cup, or I can't remember what I was told to call it, but
Let's just call it the Soccer Shop Direct Challenge Cup. We'll go with that.
but
No,
no,
the Turnmills Camel Wafer Challenge Cup, whatever it's called. Probably the best name in Scottish football, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to it next season. Well, hopefully when we get back to football, I'd love it. But that's what it's missing. Like, as much as I love the chance of Lowland League teams against East of Scotland teams and stuff like that, I think going back to the old sort of old style junior cup would be fantastic. Like,
yeah,
it's going to be as close as it'll get. Really, let's face it. Obviously, our North teams are involved in the junior cup, but who really wants to go to like fucking Elgin to play a junior cup game? I mean, we did it this year. We played, but what was it, Bridge of Dawn? We played them in the second round, and we drew 2 each at home, and then we get popped out up in Aberdeen. Aberdeen Sports Village 3-1 with about 50 folk were watching. It wasn't a Scottish Cup tie. Like you get the excitement for it. For example, we got Kelty at Buffs Park. The place would be probably been it's near thousands. Or vice versa, we would take a big following through to play somewhere like that. Again, we played BSC in the pre-season. Why not we had
played pre-season, yeah.
So playing you guys in a competitive match would be really interesting. Same again, we've played Thornton Hibs. I think they're a team that we were playing against on the east side of things, and we've had some good rivalries against them in Scottish Cup games. So definitely looking forward to that next season.
Yeah.
So does that bring us to an end? We got any more for any more?
One thing I want to talk about is, have you seen the Canvas Lang's little idea for Canvas Lang Rangers' little idea for a wee moneymaker?
The Gaza top.
Aye, so they've brought out so basically what they've done is they've went for the 1996-97 Rangers jersey design on their Canvas Lang Rangers jerseys for next season, which is it's the one with the white collar, the white stripes, red, white and blue stripes in the left hand and right hand shoulders. 35 quid a top apparently. They're only going to make 100, so I think that will absolutely fly. I mean, it does, as you say, it's the Gaza Rangers Adidas kit from 96-97. That's going to fly. That's a clever move, if you ask me, from Canvas Lang Rangers. That'll appeal to the masses.
I've seen it. I've seen it getting shared about. It's very clever for them. They know what they're doing.
Not daft, yeah.
As you say, it won't be a Hunter kit, so mate, they'll make more than that.
I'm telling you, it's Hunter now. But if that thing flies out the shelves, that's going to be. I could go into the thousands.
Oh, absolutely.
Rangers fans will latch onto that well, and I think fair play. It's not for us at Kilwinning, but definitely for Canvas Lang. You've got your first buyer in Craig. Craig's sorted out. He's first in the queue when that shop opens. He'll be there.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's great that they've done that. I mean, I'll say one thing though. It's great that you've got certain clubs that have got their own stuff for for buying. Like your Auchinlecks, your Bonner Eggs, and all that. And I think a lot of other teams should start doing that, even if they can try and get even like I know you get a scarf, you get a hat, whatever. I think if you can get like even a replica top for the Bairns that are coming to the games, or for us punters that are going, I think it'd be a great moneymaker for all the clubs. What do you think?
And that is a beautiful way to bring us to a close. Before Ben tries to plug Kilwinning's replica jerseys,
I've got a shop in my house now.
Our sponsor offers that facility. So any clubs that want to build their own club shop, get onto the Soccer Shop D on Twitter. Get it done, because you'll get replica tops, you'll get scarves, hats, whatever you want in there. They'll sort it for you. And it's not just them, to be fair. There's other people out there do it as well, but they are a sponsor. We're indebted to them, so I'm going to plug them.
For sure. Moza, I thought you were going to mention BSC and their range. Get it right up your sort of tops or whatever,
Expertly modelled by a handsome bearded man, I must admit, as well.
With a fresh new haircut.
Far too fresh.
One last thing for me, guys. You were saying about the SFA South Challenge Cup. I mean, I've been at a couple of the finals, And I think it's a fantastic competition. And one that stands out for me was played down at Musselburgh. I always remember the winning goal, and it was just a cracker. It was the overhead kick for civil service when he won it. And I just feel that it's a competition that could blossom over the years to come.
Definitely. Hopefully. Anyway.
Just on the talk of kits, we kind of have to shout out the fact that the game that you were at, Mozza, the game that you fondly remember in France, Barry Ferguson, the Kelty gaffer, sold he's selling his shirt from the game against France and his cap. And I believe there's been a 25,000 bid, and all the proceeds are going to go to the NHS. So, wow. I mean, that's fantastic.
Great shout for Barry as well. Fair play to him. Obviously, there's loads of fundraising efforts going on now, all behind every club that's doing it. I'm pretty sure the Ants are doing something as well. I'm sure I saw on Twitter the other day. But it's good to see everyone plugging together and raise money for the most needy of causes,
It's not put on something on their jersey as well, there. It seemed like a kind of one of their sponsors is not going to be like "Thank you NHS" or something like that, made by Macron, I think. So,
I think one or two of the kit suppliers have said they're going to do arm patches. Thank you NHS arm patches, and all the proceeds will go straight to NHS charities as well. So there's a few different ways clubs can go. Nice. But it's all good to see, isn't it? Plugs time. Mr. Ben has already dropped his Twitter account, so I'll go straight back to him first.
I always like to put my podcast. I'm all about the podcast. My new music podcast is at Off Grid FM. It's just dropped an episode on Wednesday with some new music. So if you like your Scottish bands and unsigned under the radar type music, then hit it up on Twitter, Apple, Spotify, the lot. It's all there.
Well, of course, when COVID and that blows over, I do the Saltire Sports Live on Radio Saltire between 2 and 5 with John Menzies. We update all the scores as they come in. Doesn't matter if it's the SPFL Premiership, we'll go to the lower leagues as well, the East of Scotland, of course, the Lowland League, and the amateurs. So when the COVID comes, guys, hopefully you can maybe check us out sometime.
The official catch-up version of Jeff Sterling right there.
On you go then, Chris.
God, is this the first time I've had a plug before here? It might be. And about 70 odd episodes or however long we've done it, but never mind. At Rampant FM on Twitter, the Catchup is at Official Catchup, Lowland League Catchup on Facebook, and official.catchup on Instagram. And you could probably find me playing on FM recently. I'm still waiting on my friendly, by the way, Muzza. I know you're afraid of getting beat, but you can find me playing FM most days, I think. And yourself, Muzza?
See the thanks I get for presenting this podcast. So, as usual, at Mozza Plays on Twitter, and you'll find me anywhere for there. Like live streaming on Twitch, whatever it is I'm doing at that time, giving Chris his game and beating him fair and square. But as Chris also said, at Official Catchup on Twitter for ourselves, and we're everywhere you get your podcasts. So subscribe to us, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever it is, you'll find us. Get us done. And it's not just Lowland League stuff. As you'll have heard recently, we are going to be diversifying into East of Scotland, West of Scotland, kind of more tailored chats in future about all the different levels as well. So we won't be having 3-hour podcasts talking about everything on one. Don't worry about that. That'll be a bit too much even for us, I think. But thank you very much for listening, folks. As always, if you've got any ideas about what we should be talking about, or you want to hear kind of special opinions on certain things, give us a shout, give us any feedback via the Twitter or comments, rating us, the ways you can do it. And until next time, we'll catch you later.